Calgary, Alberta, a city of nearly 1.5 million people, home to 1,200 hectares of federally protected and conserved wilderness areas, and 8,000 hectares of municipal parks. Situated at the confluence of the Bow and Elbow rivers, a landscape of prairie, foothills, and grasslands. Home to over 400 species of wildlife. Our animals are a defining feature of our city, and together we will strive to survive. The Inglewood Bird Sanctuary. This migratory bird sanctuary was established by Shelby Walker in 1929, and every year hosts an abundance of fowls, raptors, and other feathered friends. Situated on the shoreline of the Bow River, the IBS is an ideal resting spot for ring-billed gulls. These gulls will feed on fish, insects, grain, small rodents, as well as the nestlings and eggs of other birds. However, the main staple in the diet of an urban gull is garbage. There is plenty to be found in cities. Another species that frequents the shoreline is the ring-necked duck. They feed by making shallow dives, eating mostly plant matter, but will also feast on snails, insects, leeches, and other aquatic creatures. Ducks are social birds and will bob their heads in order to communicate with a potential mate. Each species of duck engages in complex courtship displays, head shaking, bill tossing, wing flapping, and vocalizations. Once a pairing has been made, the female will build a nest over water in emergent vegetation in the wetland. When the eggs hatch, she will incubate them for approximately 1 month. Inside the sanctuary, 2 wood ducks explore the lagoon. The male has red eye markings and a red tinge to its bill, and during the breeding season will develop decorative markings full of color and stripes. Once in the late summer, he will exchange his coat for a more modest gray color. While many of these 2 species of duck will migrate come winter, some others will like to stay. These ducks are currently sharing the lagoon with some very excitable geese. The Canada goose, easily recognizable due to its relatively large size and long neck. Canada geese are grazers and will patrol the lagoon banks for food. They are also looking to attract mates. Like ducks, the displays of geese are complicated. Canada geese are monogamous, the same pair breeding together year after year. They will also return to the same nesting sites year after year. Nose Hill Park, a massive municipal park spanning over 11 square kilometers. The park is made up mostly of a rough fescue grassland ecosystem, which supports a plethora of life, like the white-tailed deer. This herd has survived the winter, but must suffer at least one more snowstorm. In order to survive the harsh conditions of an Albertan winter, whitetails develop an extra coat in preparation and limit their activities during the season. Still, it is a battle. A particularly severe winter can severely affect the mortality rates of deer population, with food scarcity and deep snows forming the main hurdles. They are also at risk of predation, but at least these deer need not worry too much of wolves, their primary enemy. Once spring arrives in earnest, these whitetails will move to familiar habitat and begin preparing for the calving season. The males will grow their antlers and shed their winter coats in favor of a sleek, reddish-brown one. Not all of Calgary's wildlife subsides in protected areas. Many animals have adapted to the urban and industrial areas of Calgary's landscape, and there they have flourished. The Richardson's ground squirrel, named for Scottish naturalist Sir John Richardson, is one such species. In Alberta, the Richardson's ground squirrel is also known as a prairie dog, or gopher. This one is serving as a lookout. Beneath it and the snow lies an elaborate labyrinth of tunnels and alcoves. As true hibernators, the gophers spend up to 7 months underground with neither food nor water. The males will enter hibernation by the end of June, and the females will do the same come August. This leaves the gophers little time to forage, and they have much to do. Each gopher must feed on enough seeds, nuts, grains, grasses, and insects to develop a fat reserve that will get them through the next winter. Elsewhere in the city, both rabbits and hares can be found. These two bunnies are feral. They have either been abandoned by their human families, or they are the descendants of those who were. It is a growing issue for the city of Calgary, as these creatures are sometimes considered by people to be a pest, especially in larger numbers. These rabbits are especially vulnerable to predators, dehydration, hypothermia, abuse, and untreated wounds. They are not to be mistaken with their wilder cousins, the white-tailed jackrabbit. Sometimes known as the prairie hare, jackrabbits are currently in abundance within the city of Calgary, but that may not still be true in the future. A recent study posits that the population of white-tailed jackrabbits in Alberta may be in decline, citing habitat alterations and climate change as the primary factors. Calgarians are fortunate to share the city with its wildlife, but as stewards of the environment, We must always be vigilant to change in our ecosystems, or we may one day be stewards to nothing but the concrete jungle.